In order to get a better understanding of child rearing and parenting practices, CSI launched ethnographic research in 2 countries, looking at approaches to child rearing in the Caribbean. Through the CARE initiative, CSI sought to engage practitioners and researchers on how research can better inform practice. This culminated in an international research seminar being convened in May 2006, which focused on child rearing in the Caribbean.
And what is so interesting about the meeting we're having now is that all of these people have come together. There are about 20 of us. And we're going to talk about exactly what I have mentioned already. What do we know? What do we need to know before we do any more work with parents? And how would we begin to learn that? And some of the interesting questions for me are, Caribbean parents have great strengths, and we need to make sure that we build on those in our programs and don't waste their time.
Knowledge transfer is a vital element of CSI's work. The Caribbean Internship Program was developed in collaboration with the University of the West Indies in an effort to match and build rapport between institutions of higher learning and local parent and child support agencies. The placements have been a resounding success, with over 60 students across countries and faculties being placed in various CSI-supported agencies in 8 countries in the region.
The project has now expanded to include not only the University of the West Indies, but also the University of Guyana and the University of Belize. A number of agencies have indicated that they have been quite impressed with the interns, many of the interns we've sent. One that stands out in my mind is the case of Toco, where we sent an intern to help with in the community radio. And the response from that agency was that that person played an integral role in the development of community radio.
One area in which interns are involved is in communications, and the Regional Radio Project focuses on 8 communities in 6 different countries, helping the development of local programs on parenting and early childhood development for dissemination on community and national radio stations.
Toronto boy, leve, come boy.
Morning, Pavai. Morning, Mavai.
Good job, morning, sir. Look, go on buy a gill of rum and 2 cigarettes for me.
Okay, Pa, but what about the bread for breakfast?
I don't have money for bread, boy.
The program in Dominica was the only one that's being done with children. And so within that one, there have been, stories and so on that have, moral themes in terms of, having manners and, how you behave to one another and so on. So, and within that program as well, although it's by the children, we put in some stories that will interest the parents as well. So, for instance, it might be something to do with child abuse. The children learn something about it and what they can do, but also the adults will learn something about it as well.
Only remember the story about Brother Anansi and Brother Snake? Now, just like Anansi, you too can achieve your goals. You see, Anansi didn't allow his smallness of size to stop him from doing such a big task. And you could do the same.
So what we're doing is we're taking storytelling out of the traditional format that it's been in, where it's just been used for entertainment, where it's just been used for passing on morals and that kind of thing, and we're bringing it into a more contemporary space. And we're saying it can be used now to educate about tying a shoelace ends of a child, about bullying, about simple things, learning to eat with a knife and fork, how do we, and we're also making it relevant to the communities. So for instance, in Dominica, in the banana plantation up in the Carib territories, the parents are now using the storytelling in gardening, in going to the river, and all the different things. This is not just fictitious or fictional stories, but it's stories that now are relevant to the community that is using it.
Communication has always been a part of CSI's activities. And in the first phase of CSI, we've seen where communication has manifested itself into projects. The Regional Radio Project, with its focus on the use of community radio. You've also had the Storytelling Project, looking at a traditional form of communication in the Caribbean, emphasizing the oral traditions we have here. It's also been manifested in the way the CSI has done its documentation of the various projects, the use of video documentaries to document what's going on in the projects, to document parenting practices. We're looking at how we can infuse communication into all the various projects that will be implemented in the future of CSI. And it's going to be communication happening all around. Communication within projects, communication about the projects to a wider audience, communication between projects, and even communication about the CSI to other target audiences.